Welcome back to Brett Breaks Things, Friday show. We made it through our first week of live tapings, and I think it's gone well. I'm going to call it a success. I just want to give a quick reminder. I know we're getting a lot of support on Randy Rhodes' channel. Don't forget, you got to switch over at some point. Now, it's not going to be next week, but soon after that, it's just going to be live on my channel, Brett Breaks Things. So my mods that have come over and the more that are going to come, help me usher everybody over to the Brett Breaks Things live stream. But you guys have done a great job of finding me and watching the shows from the website and from YouTube. So the views are up. The views are way up over the live because I know this time slot hasn't quite worked out for everybody yet. Hopefully I'll be able to work my way into your schedule. I was thinking about bringing popcorn in this morning because the events of last night and this morning have been popcorn worthy, but I hate popcorn, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be disingenuous, right? The truth here. The truth is I don't like popcorn, but this is popcorn worthy. And, you know, a couple of people have said, hey, I love that opening, our opening, that song. I love it. And a bunch of other people have said, I love it. Love it. I'm a big rap fan. It's different from the other political shows, openings. It's fresh, whatever. I'm a big fan of hip hop. But I have never seen beef like this. This is better than Tupac versus Biggie, okay? Drake, Kendrick doesn't hold a candle to it. For you old school, Jay-Z, Nas, nope, doesn't get there. This is bigger beef than all of those rap beefs that I have enjoyed over my life being a rap fan. Elon, it didn't start unhinged, okay? It didn't start unhinged. Didn't start there. Elon, yesterday morning, a little after 11 o'clock, he posts a Donald Trump post, a Donald Trump tweet. I can't believe the Republicans are extending the debt ceiling. He says wise words. That was from 2013. He posted that Trump sounder. All right. So Elon reposted a 2013 post by Trump saying those were wise words, not raising the debt ceiling. And then 20 or so minutes after that, he posts another Donald Trump tweet from the past. From 2012, he posts, no member, and this is Donald Trump, no member of Congress should be eligible for re-election if our country's budget is not balanced. Deficits not allowed. And Elon puts above that, I couldn't agree more. So too, I mean, to even call those shots across the bow would be a little sensational. Those were just, you know, hey, Donnie, I'm lightly telling you how I feel about this debt. Okay, about this bill and the debt in this bill. Not even shots across the bow. Just friendly reminders of your own words, right? Well, Donnie gets a hold of this news. I got to switch over to the video in real time. So Donnie gets a hold of this news just before he goes into a meeting with the German Chancellor, Friedrich Merz. All right, new German chancellor makes a visit to the White House. Trump gets privy to these tweets just before he goes out there. And by the way, how many videos of leaders of major countries, the other leaders of the free world, are we going to watch sit next to Trump in the White House, incredulous, looking around like, did he just say that? Sometimes, like Zelensky looked over at one point during his visit, like as if, is this real? Is this performance art? Am I being punked here? When's Ashton Kutcher going to come out and punk me? Like, they always look like they're being punked, like they're not sure what's happening. This dude is completely unhinged. Decorum in the White House, civility, decorum, it's all out the window. You show up to the White House for a talk with our president, it's the Wild West, baby. But we have some video of what they discussed, but specifically relating to the Elon tweets, he was asked some questions during this meeting, during the Q&A session. He was asked some questions about Elon's tweets.
Well, look, you know, I've always liked Elon, and it's always very surprised. You saw the words he had for me, the words of, and he hasn't said anything about me that's bad. I'd rather have him criticize me than the bill, because the bill is incredible.
Okay, that wasn't too bad. But he was just getting warmed up. They both were. He hasn't said anything too bad about me. He's a little hesitant of just talking trash about Elon right here, right? He's just getting warmed up. He's just getting warmed up. The questions continue.
All of the things that we're doing, nobody's ever seen anything like it. And, you know, Elon's upset because we took the EV mandate, and, you know, which was a lot of money for electric vehicles. And, you know, they're having a hard time, the electric vehicles. And they want us to pay billions of dollars in subsidy. And, you know, Elon knew this from the beginning. He knew it for a long time ago. That's been in there. That's been, I would say, JD, that hasn't changed. That's been right from the beginning. Mr. Secretary, that hasn't changed at all, right from the beginning. But I know that disturbed him. He wanted, and rightfully, you know, he recommended somebody from that he, I guess, knew very well. I'm sure he respected him, but to run NASA. And I didn't think it was appropriate. And he happened to be a Democrat, like totally Democrat. And I say, you know, look, we won. We get certain privileges, and one of the privileges we don't have to appoint a Democrat.
So I'm going to tell you right now, Axios and I are going to join hands right now and take a victory lap, the both of us. Axios reported it. Scotty dug it up, and we went live with it, okay? Victory lap time, and there's going to be two of these. This one, we dug into why would Elon be upset with this bill? Why would he be so upset that he's starting to get vocal about it? We talked about the EV tax credit. That was one. They were repealing the EV tax credit, or as Trump said, the mandate. But there was no mandate. It was a simple tax credit. You buy an EV vehicle, you get a tax credit. They took it away. Whose business is that hurt? Tesla. Elon, directly to his pocket. We told you that's one of the reasons he was actually upset. Another reason we told you he was upset, that pilot Isaacson. He was Elon's buddy. He did the first citizen spacewalk on Elon's space station. He was Elon's pick to head up NASA, and Trump shut it down because he was a Democrat. They had found out that he had contributed upwards of $20,000, $25,000 to Democratic campaigns. Obviously, that is a traitor and a radical leftist, right? Giving money to the Democratic Party. You cannot have that guy running NASA under this guy's administration. Those were two things we said Elon might have been upset about. Victory lap time. He was. Moving on.
Remember, he was here for a long time. You saw a man who was very happy when he stood behind the Oval desk. And even with the black eye, I said, do you want a little makeup? We'll get you a little makeup. But he said, no, I don't think so, which is interesting and very nice. He wants to be who he is, so you could make that statement too, I guess. Look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore. I was surprised because you were here. Everybody in this room practically was here as we had a wonderful send-off. He said wonderful things about me. You couldn't have nicer. Said the best things. He's worn the hat. Trump was right about everything. And I am right about the great, big, beautiful bill.
Yeah, their relationship might not be no good no more. That's for sure. As you are about to document, as you're about to witness. But I did find it funny that he says, Elon was comfortable with me. He was comfortable hanging around in the Oval Office. And he even came in with that black eye. And I said, Elon, do you want some makeup for that black eye? And Elon said, no, I'm comfortable. Well, that's funny, Donnie. You friggin' liar. Because earlier, just a couple days ago, you said you never noticed a black eye. When asked directly about what's up with Elon's black eye, did he get punched? You said, I don't know what you're talking about. I never noticed a black eye. It's just a small eye. Just a tiny one. Just a drop in the lie bucket. No biggie. But I feel like I need to call you out on that one. And yeah, your relationship may be deteriorating a little bit, huh?
He knew every aspect of this bill. He knew it better than almost anybody. And he never had a problem until right after he left. And if you saw the statements he made about me, which I'm sure you can get very easily, it's very fresh on tape, he said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
Yeah, he's very disappointed in Elon. He's very disappointed because Elon has caught the TDS bug. The TDS bug is what he's caught. And how do you know that Trump feels like he caught the TDS bug? Because he tells you. It's going around. It's viral. It's more contagious than COVID.
I'll tell you, he's not the first. People leave my administration and they love us. And then at some point they miss it so badly, and some of them embrace it and some of them actually become hostile. I don't know what it is. It's sort of Trump derangement syndrome, I guess they call it.
Trump derangement syndrome. Look, I would be lying to you if I told you at no points during his first or second term, I did not myself have Trump derangement syndrome. I had to work through the Trump presidencies like a lot of rational Americans had to work through it. Unless you were a cult member and you know every word he says is like pouring honey down your ears, unless you're one of those guys or girls, you have worked through different phases of Trump derangement syndrome yourself. We all have. And they love us when they leave, and then they get... No, they hated you when you were there. They were using you. Everybody's using you. Don, I got news. Everybody hates you. Your wife hates you. Your kids have distanced themselves from you. Your daughter won't be seen. She has been nowhere to be seen this presidency. They get out from under your thumb. They get out from under their obligation to you once they've squeezed you dry, and then they decide to tell the truth. We've seen it time and again. Most spectacularly, Michael Cohen, which I feel certain ways about him, but I love when he tells the truth about Trump. I love when they all tell the truth about Trump. I don't care if it's after the fact. Give me that. Give me the truth.
It's time for a quick break, then we break some more. You're listening to Brett Breaks Things. You're listening to Brett Breaks Things, pushing back, speaking up, and holding the line.
All right, you see I got the number up. Give us a call. I can't guarantee I get to your calls today because we got a lot to get to. And I know everybody feels some type of way about Elon. You may feel like he is championing things you feel right now, maybe as a Republican or a Democrat, or you may be disgusted at his actions. But I know you feel some type of way. Don't be afraid to call in. Again, I can't guarantee. I'd like to get calls on Fridays, but I can't guarantee it. Let's keep it moving. So Trump finishes that interview. You wouldn't know it, but one of the leaders of the free world was there while he was rapid fire answering questions about his little cat fight. And I'm all for a cat fight. And saucer and milk, table of two, baby. Let's get it going. So right after that interview, right after that Q&A session, and I don't know if you noticed the time up there, right around 12 o'clock to 12:06, a little after, that was the time frame of Trump taking those questions after the 11:20 and 11:40 tweets by Elon just previously. So after about 12:20 or so, or right around 12:20, he's wrapping up that interview, and Elon is back at it. And I'm gonna get you privy to these texts as I read them, these tweets rather. Elon tweets at 12:19, keep the EV solar incentive cuts in the bill, even though no oil and gas subsidies are touched. Very unfair. But ditch the mountain of disgusting pork in the bill. In the entire history of civilization, there has never been a legislation that is both big and beautiful. I'm paraphrasing. Everyone knows this. Either you get a big, ugly bill or a slim, beautiful bill. Slim and beautiful is the way. All right? So he's stepping it up. These are shots across the bow. These aren't direct hits yet. Not yet. But shots across the bow. Elon continues. He posts Trump's response to some of the things he's saying. He posts Trump's response in the form of, I'm very disappointed with Elon. I've helped him a lot. He knew the inner workings of the bill. Elon's response to that? False. The bill was never shown to me, even once. And when passed in the dead of night so fast that almost no one in Congress could even read it. Well, on that point, I agree with you, Elon. On that point, I don't know how anyone could argue with you when you've got people like Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, I didn't read the bill. And now I'm all upset. I'm all upset about these rights being taken away from the states. And other people, I didn't read the bill because it was passed through the dead of the night. And we showed you Democrats during the committee meetings before this bill hit the floor, dissenting on points of the bill while they're receiving points on the bill in real time. Nobody got a chance to read this. That was the whole point. And so Elon, Mr. Super Genius, also did not get a chance to read the parts of the bill pertaining to his businesses. He didn't get a chance. Elon continues. Without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. Whoa! That's a direct hit. That is a tweet that should get your attention. That is a tweet that should get everyone's attention. What are you talking about, Elon? Are you simply talking about your presence on the campaign trail and your $250 million in campaign donation? Or are you talking about something a little more nefarious? Something that has been talked about since the election results were made final. And something that I don't love to deep dive in because it's really speculation, although the speculation is starting to form into legal action in certain places. Certain states are starting to go forward with the idea that maybe Mr. Cyber Genius Elon fudged the numbers. I'll just say it. I'm saying what a lot of Democrats are saying. How the heck could that many Democrats have stayed home? I know they were upset about the Gaza situation. We know that the left was upset about military funding to Israel. We know that. But that many Democrats stayed home over it? Seemed dubious. And now this from Elon? Even more dubious. I mean, that's a direct hit. That's a direct hit. Elon continues. In this one, he posts a few past posts by Trump talking about extending the debt ceiling. No member of Congress should be eligible. The ones he put before, he grouped them together and simply responded to these post-Trump sentiments as, where is the man who wrote these words? Was he replaced by a body double? That's not a wholly unique theory, by the way, because Trump himself had suggested that Biden was replaced by a clone just a couple weeks ago. So this clone conspiracy theory apparently is gaining ground and getting traction in this catfight. A lot of stuff is kind of getting brought to the surface in this little feud. This gorgeous feud, this wonderful feud. It's so good. And so Elon, then he gets creative and he reaches out to the American public. And he wants to know how you feel about an extra party. Is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle? Yes or no? 5.3 million votes on this poll. 80.6% of Americans, of the 5.3 Americans who voted on this poll, doesn't have to necessarily be Americans. I'm kind of throwing that in there for a little sensationalism myself. But 5.3 million votes. 80% of those votes say yes, it's time for a new party. I guess that's just, a little extra in there, trying to shake up the status quo. Ooh. I think we all know the two-party system is heavily flawed, but there are flaws in multiple party systems as well. Most notably, the more parties you have, the less percent of the overall vote you need to get to win, and that means your president, chancellor, prime minister, whatever it may be, is actually representing a smaller percent of the overall citizens of that country. So it's something to consider as Elon is being clever here. And finally, I think this is finally, because I think Donnie starts to weigh in. Yeah, finally, and this is at 2:16, so this is over the period of a couple hours. Finally, Elon, well, let's see. I want to make sure I get this right. Yeah, okay, no, they go back and forth for a little bit. Not finally. So then Elon at 2:16. Oh, and some food for thought as they ponder this question. Trump has 3.5 years left as president, but I will be around for 40 plus years. What the? Are you just telling us you're going to dance on his grave, Elon? The hell are you? Yes, you are much younger than Trump. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what your point with that is. Maybe just a ha, I'm young, you're old. Right? It's getting kind of juvenile. Oh, but then Donnie at 2:37, he finally has shook himself free from his tremendous administrative duties that he takes so damn seriously, of course. And at 2:37, he finally gets to run those fat fingers of his across the phone. And here comes some trumps from Donnie. Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate. That forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy. He went crazy. He's going crazy. He's not telling truths. This is a crazy guy. It makes you think. Trump's calling him crazy. He stopped short of calling him high. But as, you know, in a conversation with Scotty earlier, and you guys may know at home, nothing happens by accident at the Capitol, right? In Washington, nothing happens by accident. Was that drug story? Now, we've got reports that Trump has been upset with Elon for over a month now. Took away his special government employee status, spurned his NASA picks. The list goes on and on that leads you to believe that this has been building for weeks and weeks and weeks. So, you know, the split might have been coming. Okay, this split may have been coming for a while. Trump continues, though. Trump continues. Let's see the next. Oh, no. Let's see. Oh, did I get to the Trump continues on this one? Oh, okay. So no. Here's my second victory lap. This one I'm gonna let go of Axios for a second because they don't get to join me on this one. I mentioned twice, maybe 3 times when we talked about where you really want to save in the big beautiful bill. If you really want to save money, leave USAID alone. Leave the veterans alone. Leave Medicaid alone. Leave SNAP alone. Why don't you take the billions we've been giving to Elon? At least reduce it. I mentioned, $2.5 billion had been provided to him early in the first Trump administration. Just recently, over the last year, $6 billion, and we have $11 billion dedicated to Elon projects and companies going forward. Why not trim some of that? Well, guess who all of a sudden agrees with me? Trump. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. And he even snuck in Biden in there. A little sneaky mention of Biden. Elon fires back. I got to keep this moving. Elon fires back. Okay, he retweets, he reposts Trump saying that Elon was wearing thin and took away his EV mandate. Such an obvious lie. Such an obvious lie. So sad in response to Trump's tweets. Now they're going right back at each other. Right back. Such an obvious lie. So sad. Well, that's not crazy to say that Trump's a liar. I feel like that's kind of a blank he fired at him right there, to be honest with you. And then ish got real. This isn't just a direct hit. This is a bomb. Elon, time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donnie. You troll. Have a nice day, Donnie. So, Elon knows you want to believe Trump's on that list, right? He knows you want to believe it. And he knows how upset the very notion of this makes MAGA, right? Because MAGA is all about protecting the children, right? That's one of their sticking points. You're putting cat litter in the classrooms, and you're spending millions of dollars on transformative surgery on transgender youths and all these things, and of course the abortion movement. They claim to be the party for the children. That's why the optics on this Epstein file thing suck for Trump. I mean, they were able to blow past that interview with Howard Stern that Trump did, where he admitted in his Miss Teen USA pageant, I would just walk back there like, hey, I'm inspecting things and everything's going on. Meanwhile, they're standing there with no clothes on, right? Somehow MAGA had completely blown past that. And when you play them that audio, you doctored it. Not real. But this Epstein thing, this holds water. And they know it. And Trump knows it. We've all seen the tapes of Trump standing there with Epstein at his little parties, admiring the underage bodies all around him. We know how close friends they were. Epstein told you how close friends they were. This one, that is a bomb. And it puts pressure on Kash Patel and all the cronies that have been put in place in the FBI and the DOJ. Why was such a fervent, zealous Trump foot soldier put in charge of such an important federal bureau. Well, maybe because Trump's on the Epstein files.
Breaking politics, breaking narratives, breaking news. But first, we need a coffee break. Now back to Brett Breaks Things, smashing spin, silencing the noise, and keeping it all facts. No fluff.
All right, so Trump and Elon are at war. They're at war. Officially now. And when you're at war, you have generals. And we know two of the generals of the Trump army, specifically high-ranking five-star generals of the Trump army, are Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon, who it is generally accepted really write a lot of the policy, especially the culture war stuff. You got to put that on Miller. Bannon, all the lawfare stuff and all the weaseling and the posturing and the camera opportunities, going to jail for Trump. I mean, he's a loyal general, five-star general, Steve Bannon, and he knows a call to action when he sees it. He knows what to do, and he puts together a battle plan, and he executes it.
Understand on Doge, he didn't find any fraud. There's plenty of fraud out there. He didn't find. This was President Trump's first complaint. Was this all BS? Right with the Doge. The act that President Trump should be taking immediately, I think, when he threatens to take one of the big programs out of SpaceX, President Trump tonight should sign an executive order calling for the Defense Production Act to be called in SpaceX and seize SpaceX tonight before midnight. The U.S. government should seize it. If a guy's going to sit there and start making quotes, also, as Stuart Stevens talked back in January, I don't know why we haven't had a full investigation. Look, if you're going to deport illegal aliens, you got to deport illegal aliens. The good go with the good, the goose and the gander. They got to go back to this, as Stuart Stevens talked about, and go through everything about his immigration status. I happen to believe, given the facts that I've been shown, that he's an illegal alien, and illegal aliens got to be deported.
Awesome. Great job, Steve. Honestly, you really are one of the best at doing what it is you do. That took you no time at all. You say it with conviction. You have no problem blowing past, we should seize a private company under the Defense Production Act. Just seize it. Yeah, okay, Castro. Yeah, okay, Chi. Okay. All right, just take it. And that's not even the main point of what he's saying. Like, that alone would be like, what did he just say? Seize Elon's companies and assets? What? No, that was fluffer. That was just to be sprinkled on top of his main point, which is deport Elon, the illegal immigrant. These are the good times. Remember that from Goodfellas? These were the good times. I want you people on the left who find not just their policies and their general, MO when it comes to running our country and our lives distasteful, to those of you who find these people distasteful, right? And to see them, I got to be honest too, I felt like when they started implementing Project 2025, I was like, man, the Heritage Foundation and Miller and Bannon and these guys, they got it all figured out. They are executing this to perfection. Everything he said. I mean, there was a couple details here and there, not ending the war, but man, he said day one he was going to do a bunch of stuff, executive orders, and bing, bang, boom, bop, bing, bang, bam. We got illegals going out. We got the tariff. We got the travel ban. All of it. And I thought it was going so to plan. I was so in awe of this nefarious plot they had put together, but it's starting to come apart at the seams. This is the part that we should be enjoying. We've been waiting for it. Enjoy it. Through all this, don't forget to enjoy this, okay? Now, he's talking about deporting Elon, the illegal alien. Is there any truth to this? You hadn't heard this, that he's illegal. Where's he getting this?
In fact, when they did fund us, they realized that we were illegal immigrants, Well, I mean,
Yes, we were.
I'd say it was a gray area.
Yeah, yes, we were. We were illegal immigrants. We were sleeping in the office. We didn't have a car. We had one car, but the wheel kept falling off.
But, well, actually, yeah, the wheel did actually fall off the car.
Yes, exactly. And the venture capitalists.
Now, the wheels are coming off now, aren't they? So that's Kimball, his little brother. And Elon's looking at him like a big brother looks at their little brother when they're talking too much in front of dad, when dad's trying to find out who broke the window, and now the little brother won't shut up. That's Kimball running his mouth about their illegal status. And Elon's like, no, that's a gray area. All right, well, after doing a little fact checking, Elon's path from a student visa to U.S. citizenship in 2002 involved various legal programs and steps he had to go through. Suggesting that it's illegal may be a step too far, but it's certainly gray. And if there is any validity at all to it, Bannon's on it right now. He'll get back to you, I promise. He'll get right back to you on that. Don't worry. We're going to find out just how legal Elon's status is. And of course, another loyalist steps up to do battle. Now, I wouldn't call JD a general. He hadn't earned his 5 stars yet, I promise you. I mean, Trump, yeah, he's a lieutenant or a colonel. Colonel's pretty high. We'll give him colonel. You licked boots pretty well. Don't forget, Trump didn't want this guy. This is Peter Thiel's guy. This wasn't Trump's guy. And it didn't end up costing Trump the election, but it didn't help win it either. People don't like J.D. Vance. And J.D. comes out and he fires a couple shots, right? A couple artillery strikes. President Trump has done more than any person in my lifetime to earn the trust of the movement he leads. I'm proud to stand behind him. That's what I'm talking about, J.D. Go strong. Go hard, bud. There are many lies the corporate media tells about President Trump. One of the most glaring is that he's impulsive or short-tempered. Yeah, because sitting in front of the Chancellor of Germany getting catty about Elon isn't impulsive at all. None of his Truth Social posts and tweets, they may be a lot of things, but impulsive they are not, JD. You're so right. I just want to remind you who this guy is, or at least was.
I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
Trump is a really bad candidate, and frankly, I think a really bad person. And my biggest problem with Trump, I mean, and there are many, many things to pick out, but my biggest problem with Trump is that his message to the right, especially the white working class of which I came from, is anti-conservative and in some ways anti-American. It's fundamentally that the deck is so stacked against you that unless I'm the president, nothing that you do will change your life's outcomes. I think it's wrong, and I think it's very self-destructive.
JD. I love it when these guys tell the truth. I love it. JD had other comments at the time about Trump. Might be America's Hitler. I didn't say it. That's not me. That was JD. Might be a cynical a-hole, cultural heroine, noxious, reprehensible. These are JD's words. And my favorite, because this is more poetic, the accomplished author, J.D. Vance, should be able to come up with something poetic, right? And he did this time when he said, the opioid of the masses. To many, Donald Trump feels good, but he can't fix America's growing social and cultural crisis, and the eventual come down will be harsh. Beautiful, J.D. Nobody could have said it better themselves. That J.D. Vance has been put to pasture, okay? And all we have left is that boot-licking foot soldier that you see standing by him, attacking Zelensky, posting nonsense. That's what we have left. The Republicans have reacted to this feud. The Republicans are reacting to this feud like a child who's in their room and the parents are shouting at each other so loud and so toxic, in such a toxic way that they're worried that there might be a divorce coming, and they're very scared, and they're holding onto their teddy bear in bed, and they just want mommy and daddy to get along, but they're shouting and something crashed and you heard a bang and words you're not allowed to use are being used.
Right now, this tit for tat going back and forth isn't healthy. I tell you what, Elon, this is what I'll do. Come down to Texas 22nd District, right? I'll pay your filing fee, and run against me.
I trust the math from the guy that lands rockets backwards over the politicians.
I'd go with Trump politically. You know, the two biggest dogs in the pound. They're going to turn on each other eventually, and that's what's happened.
It's easy to be the parent that says, you know, we're going to go to Disney World. It's hard to be the parent that says, yeah, but we can't afford it.
I think maybe they should count to 10.
I think maybe Troy Nels should watch what he wishes for. Because I got news for you, Troy. You don't want Elon coming down there and primarying you. You don't want it. I promise you, you don't want it. But yeah, so the kids are all upset. The parents are fighting. And the kids are all upset. Got to ask yourself a couple questions, though, on the heels of all of this. There is no doubt that it's extremely entertaining. But is it too entertaining? Is it too entertaining? You've got a travel ban newly implemented, already shuffling behind this in the news cycle. You aren't thinking about that donor dinner, that cryptocurrency dinner that he threw. You're not talking about that anymore. And news of the big, beautiful bill making its way to Senate, going through changes, that's barely seeping through the cracks of this catfight. I'm guilty of it. I opened the show with it. I told you how much I'm enjoying it. I can't get enough. I can't look away. Luckily, I have just enough time, doing a show that I can look elsewhere as well. But I've spent 3 segments doing this, and I've enjoyed every damn second. I hope you have too. But is this too entertaining? Is this look over here while we kick your grandma off Medicaid over here? Fact Check Friday is what I promised you. Fact checking is what I promised you I'd do on this show. And I'm going to do that next segment. And I can't wait for that as well. We're going to get into some fact checks next segment.
We'll be back to break it all down. You're listening to Brett Breaks Things. Brett Breaks Things. Fighting for America, one mic drop at a time.
All right, everybody calm down. All right, calm down. We had a lot of fun. That's fun, no doubt. I enjoyed it as much as you, if not more, possibly. Can't get enough. But we told you in our mission statement we were going to fact check the lies, debunk the BS. I continue to refer back to it because that's what I continue to try to do. I feel like, again, that is where our value will lie for the most part. Having the time to get into just some of these quick lies that he tells the American public. He just tells lies. And there's one lie that's been floating around quite a bit that has made it to the water coolers. I'm guilty of, going on TikTok and sitting in on, left versus right debates, right? You have a left-leaning content creator hosting a few dissenting creators on the little side windows, and they're talking about it, and they're debating about all sorts of things Trump-related. And this keeps coming up more and more frequently, which is Trump saying 68% raise in your taxes if you do not vote for this bill. Let's hear him talk about it. Oh, I got to.
If it doesn't get approved, you'll have a 68% tax increase. You're going to go up 68%. That's a number that nobody's ever heard of before.
Yeah, that is a number nobody's ever heard of, Don, because it's completely false. And like a lot of his lies, it started with a grain of truth at some point and just gets Trumpified on the way out of his mouth. Again, the big, beautiful bill is a lemon. It's a 98 Chrysler Baron convertible. It's a lemon. And you're a rube. And he's going to say what he has to say to sell this thing to you. And he's been saying a 68% tax increase for Americans. Okay, so when I fact check, I think it's important to say where I'm getting my numbers from, right? This is from Urban Brookings Tax Policy Center and the Tax Foundation. Urban Brookings says that 64% of American households will have a tax increase. The Tax Foundation says 62%. So let's go with 63. Okay, let's get that straight. Between those two sources, they estimate that 63% of American households will face a tax increase if this bill isn't passed. The increase they're referring to is a 7.5% increase in their taxes. Again, the Urban Brookings Tax Policy Center, please go look it up yourself, and the Tax Foundation. That is where I'm getting these numbers. Are we clear? Are you clear? When you go to debunk this garbage at the water cooler, are you clear? A 7.5% tax increase for 63% of Americans. Those are the actual numbers. Nobody's ever heard of 68% increase in taxes because that's, again, so false that you got to give him credit. I mean, when he lies, he lies. Man, the dude lies. He goes big. He goes big. It's a big lie. Well done, Donnie. But I got time to fact check you, bub. Let's play some more Donnie lies.
We're devastated. The last administration, in my opinion, the most unsuccessful administration maybe in the history of our country. Grocery prices went through the roof. While grocery prices now are down, you remember they were talking about eggs. My first week in office, the press was screaming about eggs. Eggs have gone up 287%. I said, I'm sorry, I just got here. And the eggs went up. Now the eggs are down at the same price they were. We got them all the way down. And we had, 3 weeks ago for Easter, we had an egg hunt, an egg roll, they called it. And they said, sir, could you order, a couple of months ago, could you order plastic eggs? I said, we're not ordering plastic eggs. And by the time we had the event, eggs were all the way down. But think of it, grocery prices are down, gasoline prices are down, and we're down just in time. $1, we had numerous states, $1.98 a gallon, just in time for Memorial Day weekend. How about that? Good time.
Okay, plastic eggs bad, plastic straws good. A lot to unpack here. So I'm going to get to the main points of this particular lie. Again, that's one of those rapid fire lie sessions. I dare you to try to catch up with these lies. I dare you. And I will take your challenge. You've thrown the gauntlet down once again, Donnie, and I will take your challenge. Grocery prices went through the roof during the last administration, and they're all the way down now. Grocery prices had maintained through the entire last year, April 2024 to April 2025 of the Biden administration, it had maintained an increase of around 2%. That 2% is static. That 2% applies now through the first 3.5 months of Don's administration. Groceries have continued to rise at about a 2% clip. They were not all the way through the roof, and they are not all the way down now. You managed to lie on both ends of that particular lie. Well done. You got the lie on the front end and the back end. It's 2%. It's always been 2% for groceries. That's the increase. He said eggs were up 280% before he took office. 280%. That's got to scare you, America. Eggs are up 280%. No. Another one of those spectacular lies that are just above and beyond. During the worst part of the avian flu outbreak at the tail end of Biden's administration, eggs went up 25%. That has caused supply chain issues and resupply issues, and it is going to get worse before it gets better because of this flu. And where am I getting this stuff from? The USDA. Now, is the USDA a radicalized wing of the government that has been taken over by the left-wing radical traitors? Do you really believe that, considering he's got the House, the Senate, and the executive right now? Do you think any branch of the government right now stands a chance of being radicalized by the left? So let's just assume you still trust the USDA. Let's just assume that, and that is where I'm getting these numbers, the USDA. 280% eggs are up. No, they were up 25% during the avian flu, and it looks like they may go all the way up to a 41% increase before the supply chain issue is said and done. But 280%? That is a spectacular lie. That is a Trumpian lie. It is a new form of lie, a lie that goes, lies are meant to be believed. The basis of these lies go so far past believable. It's a strategy. It's Donnie's strategy. And he continues. This one, this one is so easily debunkable and fact checkable that I didn't have to do it for you. Because when he said it, it should have perked your ears up. Because you all go to the gas pumps every day. This jackass says it's down to $1.98 per gallon. Just in time for Memorial Day. $1.98 per gallon. Well, let me show you a little map of where gas prices actually are right now. The blue and the white is the low to middle price range right now, and the red, the deep red, and the rose colored are where it's a little higher. And I'll just crunch this. I'll just get straight to the chase here. The part that matters, the lie. If you take a look at Mississippi, that's a deep blue on that map. That means it's very, very low in Mississippi. It's, as a matter of fact, it's the lowest in the country right now. Right now, gas in Mississippi is $3.19. That is the lowest it is anywhere. So whether Donnie's lying about gas being down to $1.98 for everybody, well, that's a lie, because if you aggregate the gas prices across the country, it's much higher than $3.19, let alone $1.98. And if he's speaking specifically to the lowest point anywhere in the country being $1.98, that's a lie as well by over $1. So either way you want to interpret that statement, it's a lie. And right now, gas is at its highest in California at $4.74 per gallon. The dude just lies. He just lies. Now, I told you the big, beautiful bill is going to make its way to the Senate. That's where it is right now. They hope to have a vote sometime this weekend. Right now, they're debating it in the Senate. It's going to face changes. Certainly, there will be changes made. A lot of the changes will be predicated on what some of those Republican senators were squawking about. Taking some off the debt. Some of those Republican senators that represent poorer red states are worried about the blowback to the cuts in Medicaid and SNAP. They know damn well that their constituents rely heavily on Medicaid and SNAP. They know damn well that that will affect them come election day. When it's time for them to get reelected, they will have to answer for these cuts in Medicaid. They will have to answer to people being thrown off their Medicaid and Medicare. They know that. They know that it will affect their pocket. Their gravy train will be affected directly. And I told you, I expect the split in the Republican Party to be based on when Donnie, just being associated with him, starts costing you votes. Right now, he threatens to primary you. Right now, you get to be a part of this Republican gravy train, and the big mega donors that he has collected to support this Republican Party works for you right now. But what happens if you get primaried or you lose your election because of Donnie? It doesn't matter who Donnie's got supplying the Republican Party. It's not going to trickle to you anymore. Your gravy train will come to a complete stop. So when will the Republicans split from Donnie? It's when Donnie costs them votes simply by being associated with the Trump-led Republican Party. Okay? So when this bill makes its way through the Senate, those grandstanding Republicans who had the gumption, the temerity to speak out against some of the points in this bill because they know it's going to cost them votes, they're going to get heard on the Senate floor. They're going to get heard, and they're going to have a chance to adjust this bill to their liking. They're going to squeeze this administration until they get what they feel they have coming to them, and then they'll vote yes. We are not going to have 7 or 8 Republican senators voting against this bill. There will be changes, and it will most likely make it back through the Senate and back to the House floor. Once the changes are made, the Senate will vote on it. Once the Senate comes to a vote, it will go back to the House floor to debate those changes and go back through the House again. So we will keep you apprised on these changes. We'll keep you up to date as much as we can on these changes. Of course, everything they're doing is to hide these changes, hide the pork in this bill, hide the minutia, so you don't have a chance to orient yourself. Not just you, but the people that represent you don't have a chance to orient themselves and pose cogent, effective debate and argument against some of this stuff. But we're going to do our best to try. We'll see if the vote gets through the House or through the Senate by this weekend and back to the House. I'll see you next week. It's been a pleasure doing this first live week with you guys. Thank you very much.
They'll try to repair the narrative, but Brett breaks things will be back